Hello, music fans of the internet. We are last week's album back again this week with another album review. I am Kevin,
I'm Derek.
and we will start things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
And this week, we are talking about an album called My Friend Fish by a guy who calls himself Diane Coffee. It's his stage name, pseudonym. A little background on him. He is California bred, former child and voice actor for Disney, and most recently he's been the drummer for another band we've reviewed here called Foxygen. His real name is Shaun Fleming, and this is his debut album. It was primarily recorded in 2 weeks in a New York City apartment while he had the flu, with very limited means like half a drum kit, an iPhone voice memo app, and playing a detuned guitar for bass. So there's your background. Let's jump right into Sounds Like. Derek, what do you think?
Kevin, I think My Friend Fish sounds like 60s psych-pop interspersed with an eclectic range of sounds courtesy rudimentary, albeit modern, devices with lyrics ranging from neurotic, claustrophobic, to optimistic, and at times, a little voyeuristic.
You packed almost as many words in there as Diane Coffee packs genres into songs.
Yeah, touching on the genres is the only thing I couldn't work into that horrible run-on sentence there. But yeah, I was trying to get at that.
All right, My Friend Fish, I think, sounds like a long-lost recording of the Beatles and David Bowie jamming in Motown. So, we will get right into key tracks. Derek, what do you got?
Kevin, my key tracks are Never Lonely and Eat Your Love with Sriracha.
All right. Mine are All the Young Girls and Eat Your Love with Sriracha, but I believe Never Lonely comes first in order of tracks. So why don't you kick us off, Derek?
Yeah, this one I think was the second track on the album. It just definitely channels that 60s psychedelic pop rock that we were kind of alluding to earlier. It's kind of thumping bass line, a faint, distant, playful piano riff, electric guitars come in and flourishes, very prominent vocal lines. It almost sounds layered, but once again, I think it was some of the iPhone voice app type things you were talking about. And the lyrics take on this very sardonic view on loneliness, especially in the context of being separated from a loved one or maybe even a stranger, such as this lyric here. He says, I saw you step out on the A train, put those red ribbons in your hair. You were running from someone. You looked at me, but tried not to stare. Just kind of a goofy song, interesting take on this subject, and just really catchy beat overall, and just a really fun song for me.
Yeah, I think goofy is a good word to describe this album as a whole, Derek. So good catch there. My first key track, however, is All the Young Girls, which has this really Motown-y drums and swaying electric guitar, teen idol-ish slash almost Prince vocals going on, a really kick-ass chorus. Stop breaking my body is the line, and the way he sings it is pure AM gold. There's a kazoo solo, doo-wop backing vocals, and a screeching guitar solo. So all in all, a great track. Derek, tell me why you like Eat Your Love with Sriracha.
Eat Your Love with Sriracha. There are so many things to like about this song. I'm just going to kind of touch on some of the instrumentation that really jumped out to me. Just kind of kicks off with his jammin' bass snare drum beat, and then this New Orleans jazz style, I thought, type of bass or organ line just really kicked this song off into another gear. There's bouncing guitars, whistles, hand claps, and insanely catchy vocal melody, even if the iPhone app he used here rendered some of the lyrics nearly imperceptible. But on my last thought here, just kind of just capturing this raw sexual energy. There's heavy breathing, hip shake-inducing rhythm, just makes this song fantastic with Sriracha.
Isn't everything fantastic with Sriracha, Derek?
Dude, Kevin, you lived with me long enough and saw me pour enough hot sauce on my food to know that the answer is yes.
Yes, but the reasons I liked this song, he does very different vocals in almost every song to really fit the style and sound of each song, which is something really nice about the album. But here are my all-time favorite vocals on the album. He stretches out the last syllables of the last word in each verse, almost like a skipping record, and it just sounds really cool, especially with that effect on top that you talked about, Derek. You also mentioned hand claps, bouncing drums, wailing organ. Overall, I thought it had this feel good, old school Beck vibe to the song. It's weird and goofy vocal rambling at the end, which is really strange but funny. And overall, it ends too soon every time I listen to it. So obviously,
absolutely.
All right, that brings us to best lyrics. Derek, what have you?
Kevin, my best lyric comes from Never Lonely. How come you never feel lonely, even though I'm not around? I just really liked it. I mean, I'd like to think everyone should be lonely when I'm not around, and I'm going to be really disappointed when I figure out that that is not the case, although it should be. And I think Diane Coffee here makes a great point. I get behind it 100%. Hashtag unrealistic expectations.
I don't think that's how you hashtag, but whatever. My best lyric comes from the opening track, Hymn, and the line goes, I think that you're cool, yeah, I could catch a cold with you. It just seems like the right thing to do. Lord knows I can't drink all this soup by myself, which sort of ties back to the whole how he, recorded this during 2 weeks while he had the flu. So, overall rating, you're going first, Derek.
Kevin, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. Overall, I thought it was just really good top to bottom, although I thought there were a few spots, just the overall sounds were just not pleasant to my ears. Screeching at some points, I think, would be a good word to describe it, but it was few and far between. And, in between those few spots were just really fantastic jams I really enjoyed. So, 4 out of 5. This is great.
All right. We agree this week, Derek. I'm also giving it a 4 out of 5. I think it's an amazing debut, especially considering the circumstances under which it was recorded. Also, this being his debut, it shows a lot of promise. And there's definitely some Foxygen elements to it, which I think everyone is probably going to say just because he's the drummer for them. But I think it's definitely as good as, if not better, than Foxygen's release this year. And I really like, as I mentioned earlier, his vocal idiosyncrasies he does with each song, really bring it to life in different ways. And it's 10 tracks in 32 minutes. Like I said earlier about Eat Your Love, it's always over too soon every time I listen to it. So I can't wait to see what this guy does next. Really impressed. All right, there you have it, guys. Another review from last week's album. Go check out My Friend Fish by Diane Coffee. Tell us what you think. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Signing off, I am Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And we are last week's album, talking about good music. We'll see you next week, guys.
Cheers.